Now, having understood some of the leading causes to procrastination, having understood what procrastination itself is all about, and having known some of the effects it can have on you as a person, let's talk about some of the solution or techniques, practical measures we can put in to be able to overcome this habit. Now, one of it is what? Understanding your triggers. Speaking about understanding your triggers, we're talking about having to know what causes something. For an example, when we talk about a gun right now, let's say for a military personnel, for them to be able to bring the bullet out, they will need to be able to pull the trigger. Just like Rihanna sang the song, "Oh mama, mama, I just shot a man down."
Where your insurance?
You get, for you to be able to shoot a man down, you need to pull the trigger first.
Wow.
So understanding your trigger is one of the best and most strategic ways to be able to beat procrastination. But mind you, it comes with the cost of having to understand process in time. Now, you have to study yourself first and study your habits to be able to know what is the trigger to a particular habit. Now, an instance to trigger is this. Let's say I want to go to the gym and I want to work on my body build now, or to reduce my calories. And having to go to the gym, along the way I discover that there is this ice cream seller who sells Mickey donuts. Now, a lot of us love Mickey donuts. Now, mind you, that's a lot of calories. Not bad, but for somebody who has the goal of having to work on their physique, would actually put some reduction and some cuts to their diet.
All this grammar like this in English.
Yeah. For me to be able to understand that is my trigger, that I love sugar and I love sweet things, I could decide that, having known that the guy who sells ice cream is in this street, going to the gym, I'm going to pass the next street. So I've not only understood my trigger, but I've been able to manipulate the whole environment and being able to beat my trigger to achieve my goal. Another thing you want to put into place is having to create a daily routine. Now, what do we mean by daily routine? Something we say you do on a regular. You get? Now, that consistency of habits is actually going to help you to be able to keep track of your activities. Now, how does this work? Now, you have to incorporate discipline. Now, but before we talk about discipline, you have to create a checklist of activities, like, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, and after that I'm going to do this. So that way you are making more order and organization to your activities per time or per day. You get? But don't forget discipline. Now, I'll give you a very vivid example. Let's take, for instance, let's say I wake up every morning and every morning looks chaotic. Every morning looks hazardous. Every morning looks stressful to me. One of the best ways to beat that is to create a checklist of my activities, such that rather than having to prepare my day by the day, I would prepare my day before the day, or a day before the day, or a night before the day. Now, having to prepare my day a night before, it gives me more time to do other activities when it's daybreak, and it also gives me a more orderly or a more organized morning. Why? Because I've already created a checklist, so I know what I'm going to do first and I know what I'm going to do next. That's one of the beauty about the military. That's why I so love the force. Every military person don't live in doubt or in suspense. They live in a checklist of activities whereby they have a defined routine per day. And if you can build a routine of activities, you're already taking yourself on a higher plane. Like the high performance people in the world we are in today, like the people we see that be the oga at the top, all those guys say that they make things they happen. Majority of them have a checklist of activities, and this checklist of activities helps them not only to organize their day, but it also gives them a clarity of thought. A clear thought brings about what? A productive day. How does that come about? Because you have a clear mindset whereby you can be able to create and organize things and get things done in time. Next step of action you could take to be able to beat procrastination is having to find an accountability or a support partner. Indigenous people used to say, "Na person wey no man, na the key man, and na person wey no man, na the help man." You get? Now, you know the idea of that is this. If you can be able to get somebody that you can be able to account to, that you can be able to tell, okay, this is what I want to achieve. And then that person, on their light of understanding what you want to achieve, then agree to give support. You know what? It becomes two forces in the same direction, and that's going to give what? A massive result. Now, for you to be able to get things done with your accountability partner, the two of you need to have similar goals, either in life in general or to that specific task you want to have achieved. Take for instance, right now, let's say I'm a smoker, or we have a die-hard smoker that wants to break free from that habit. You don't want to have an accountability partner for someone who himself is a die-hard smoker who is not willing to give up that habit. Rather, you want to have a smoker also who understands and can relate with the issue you are having, but is looking as well to break free from that habit, like you yourself are looking to. That way, the two of you can become a combined force that can be able to what? Achieve, or I would rather put, move mountains. Now, another measure you can also use, which is very, very relatable and easy to use, is actually having to give yourself reward and consequences. Now, what do I mean by reward and consequences? When you do good, when you know say when you know say you hit that goal, you get, make yourself do alright. Treat yourself with something nice. You can take yourself out. You can even decide to go on a party with your friends just because you achieve a certain goal. You get? Now, in regards to the consequences, now when you set a particular goal and you don't hit it or you don't meet it, now don't kill yourself, you get, but put a punishment to it. You get, you can fine yourself with a particular amount that, okay, if I don't achieve this goal, I'm going to pay this certain amount. Or maybe if I don't achieve this certain goal of having to own up the boldness or the confidence to go meet my girlfriend and tell her, okay, this, or my crush, that this girl, I'm falling for you. Now, if you cannot actually achieve that, one thing you can do to yourself is, okay, if I can't achieve that, I'm going to pay a certain amount of money to a charity organization. So that's my punishment. You know, it's a consequence for that action I couldn't achieve. You get? So because I've given myself a punishment, on next occasion I will definitely push myself to the limit. Here's something you need to note for reward and consequences. It doesn't necessarily have to be an aftermath effect or an aftermath technique. You can also use reward and technique as a prompter, such that you've given yourself a reward promise that if you are able to take up certain tasks and is successful, this is the reward. Or if you're able to take up certain tasks but unsuccessful, this is the consequence. So, such that because you're already aware there's a consequence, you want to make sure you get it done and successful so as to avoid the consequence. So another technique I'll give to you today is mindfulness and stress reduction. Now, when we talk about mindfulness and stress reduction, we are like going into the monk perspective or the guru's perspective, whereby we're trying to see how you can be able to create some form of clarity of thought and also some precision in thinking. Now, engaging in mindfulness is actually one of the systems you can use to beat stress. And one of the measures you can put in terms of going into mindfulness is meditation. Now, oftentimes we do things without actually thinking about what we're doing. We're only thinking about what we want to have achieved, but we're not thinking about what we're doing at the instance. Take for instance, there's mindful eating, whereby you're not just eating to satisfy your hunger, but you are eating and thinking about thoughts of what is the taste of the food I'm eating, what is the texture of the food I'm eating, what is the temperature of the food I'm eating. You get? That way, the food not only satisfies your hunger, but it also fulfills your cravings and is pleasurable. So having understood that mindfulness can help you to beat stress, and all of us have come to the understanding from the established fact that stress is a procrastination trigger. Now, one act of mindfulness you can also put in to enhance your productivity is self-awareness, one, and secondly, environmental awareness. We'll talk about self-awareness on subsequent content we'll be creating. Now, But environmental awareness, we're talking about you being consciously aware of your environment. Take for instance, right now, let's say I'm creating this content and I'm looking right into the camera. I'm also conscious of the birds that are flying around. I'm also conscious of um, the, the camera stand. I'm also conscious of the beauty of nature. I'm mind blown in all of this while I'm also focused on this. That consciousness gives me some level of creativity in what I'm doing. You get, sometimes it's a distraction, but also sometimes it's needed for you to be able to what? Beat through the stress. Now, another useful tip I'll give to you in terms of beating procrastination is leveraging on technology. For crying out loud, this is the 21st century where technology and advancement from this has made life so seamlessly easy. Now, we have a lot of technological apps that you can use today to boost your productivity as well as manage your task. Take for instance, we have productivity apps that can help you to keep checklist and to know how you manage your task. Now, we also have productivity apps that can also help you to track your time such that you can know how you're spending your time. You get, time is money. Time lost can never be regained. But if you can be able to track your time, then you can be able to save up more time. There's a saying that every one of us, both the high performance and the low performance, every one of us have 24 hours of the day. But the question now is, how are you spending yours? Now, the last of the acts I'm going to give you to be able to beat your procrastination is this: change your environment. Change your environment. Now, there is this popular cliche that says you cannot change the people around you, but you can change the people around you. Now, what does that imply? You can't change people's mindset when they have a fixed mind or when they already have a conviction about something. But the people around you, you can actually change those set of people to people that are more inclined to what you want to have achieved than people that are a distraction. You can be able to surround yourself with positivity and support. You get, so this is a community of street psychians. Now I want you to share your own idea and your own light of some of the struggles you've had as regards procrastination and some possible solutions. I've just mentioned a few. If you have one or two practical technique you've been able to use to beat procrastination, do well to what? To share your thoughts and ideas. Thanks for watching Street Psyche. Until next time, take care and stay motivated. Remember, Street Psyche, it's always value with vibes.